In the past couple videos, I've had some of this information sprinkled in, so I decided to dedicate an entire video to it. And it might be one of the most important videos I make this season, and the plan is to fully break down Flinch Resistance and to understand it. There's a lot to go through today. I have charts, I have tips, what you should be focusing on, how you should be doing this, the number one thing to do, things like that. And for all the weapons that I'm using in the gameplay, I can tell you the exact Flinch Resistance percentage. So when you understand it, you need to realize that we've never had anything like this in the history of the game, period. This is a big deal. The anti-flinch system is working smooth, and it's working far better than I imagined. Way better. And so much so, I believe it's now a main core mechanic that you should be building into. Similar to recovery, your class ability, it's on that level. That big of a deal. I have a lot of numbers today, but as I go through, I'm going to try to simplify it. It doesn't matter if you're M and K or controller. I'm going to repeat that. It doesn't matter if you're M and K or controller because the gains that you're getting are worth it. And before I do a deep dive to show you why you should be doing this, really quick, if you've been looking for a new PC, look no further than Apex Gaming PCs. We have 3 different tiers: cool, cooler, and coolest. Each tier is customizable and they have AMD Ryzen processors and NVIDIA graphics cards. And Apex Gaming PCs offer a lifetime labor warranty, 24/7 customer support, worldwide shipping, and more. Go check them out in the link at the top of the description, and when you do, don't forget to use code CoolGuy to save up to $250 off of your order. I've been working on this video for a while, and where I want to start, plain and simple, when we play the Crucible, when we break it down to the most basic goal. Yes, there are rotations, there's game sense, there's map knowledge, but in the end, defeating your opponent before they defeat you is the goal, period. When the time comes, you click the head and you win. And with what flinch reduction is reducing, it's mitigating the outside source, the outside RNG that tries to take that away from you. So in this week at Bungie on 421, and it's important that we go through this because I'm going to keep coming back to it, we've rebuilt the stability stat to grant flinch resistance in addition to its other effects. Maximum flinch resistance is 10 to 25% dependent on the weapon archetype. You can build for flinch resistance more easily on weapons that feel flinch more than others, less on special weapons, because they don't want those to be a little bit easier to use. From internal playtests, you may not feel the difference when using just one source of flinch resistance, but when stacking 2 or more, the benefit is strong. No lies detected. Note that higher zoom weapons are affected more by flinch, which they took into account when tuning the numbers. So, flinch resistance with 100 stability. You get 25% with an auto rifle, SMG, or bow, 20% with a pulse rifle, scout, sidearm, or machine gun, 15% with hand cannon or trace rifle, 10% with fusion shotgun, sniper, grenade launcher, linear fusion, rocket launcher. They say that note that a stability stat below 20 will technically have a small flinch resistance penalty. And a little peek at the chart that we're gonna get to later, and I have a lot to say about that chart, there's a lot to know about it. But yes, you see around 20, you start getting the penalty. That is true. And then they go through some examples. Let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. Let's use the second one. A 70 stability hand cannon, 5 resilience, 1 unflinching hand cannon armor mod. And then they start listing off some numbers, 0.91, 0.95, 0.7. And I do have the percentage for resilience levels and a lot of the things that you need, but I want to bring up a core list here. The main thing to know is that it's multiplicative. I'm going to say that a couple times, like no distraction, it's a 0.65 time, Suro Synergy, 0.8, 1 unflinching, 0.75, 2 is 0.7, Rally Barricade, 0.5, 10 resilience is 0.9, 100 stability on an auto rifle, 0.75, 100 stability on a sniper, 0.9. The lower the number, the better it's going to be because it kind of works in reverse. Out of the gate, they've made your resilience stat and the stability stat on your weapon apply to flinch resistance. So after this update, all of your gunfights are changed because even if you don't build into it at all, it's still there. So you're still getting help. Like let's say you're using a Hawk Moon, like this guy right here, it's got rangefinder, 96 handling, 68 stability. So for all intents and purposes, let's say it's 70, okay? Say you have this 70 stability and you have 5 resilience. 70 stability on a hand cannon is a 0.91 multiplier. At 5 resilience, that's a 0.95 multiplier. So you didn't do anything. You just picked up a gun, didn't care about your armor, and you went. It's 0.91 times 0.95. It's 0.8645. So that ends up being 13.5 flinch resistance. All gunfights this season with this combo is getting that flinch help that you didn't have before. But remember, this is multiplicative. We have those 2 numbers, 70 stability 0.91, 5 resilience 0.95. Let's add on 1 hand cannon unflinching mod. The multiplier for that is 0.75. They're multiplicative. 0.91 times 0.95 times 0.75 is 0.648. So that 13.5%, when you add that mod, you're at 35% flinch resistance on that Hawk Moon. We have these two new free sources, resilience and stability. And in this situation, we didn't even build it to it. We just threw on a mod, 35%. I want to bring these charts up and note here, I don't know how Bungie does repeating. I don't know how they do certain decimals and some other things, but the numbers that you're seeing are pretty close, very close. Your end might be like a percent or two off, but they're close. So I have resilience at the bottom. Full tier 10 resilience is 0.9, then it scales all the way to 0.99, which is 1, right? 1 means nothing. There's no multiplier applied to flinch. You're not getting any help. So those starting percentages, let's bring it back. 25% is 0.75, 20% is 0.8, 15% is 0.85, 10% is 0.9. The main thing to know as you add on stability, as you add on resilience, is that number stays closer to its original multiplier. The worse that stat is, the more it gets closer to 1, and 1 means no help. Max flinch that you take, full flinch. You want those numbers to be as low as possible. Like as you can see, 10% 0.9, 25% 0.75. You want low. So let's take a look at this Fatebringer that I have, a true 100 stability hand cannon. Hand cannons get the full 15% at 100 stability. The multiplier for 15% is 0.85. Cool, I'm also running in all this gameplay, tier 10 resilience. I get the full 10% there, and that multiplier is 0.9. I also have on double unflinching hand cannon. Double unflinching hand cannon multiplier is 0.7. So it's 0.85 times 0.9 times 0.7, 0.535. This weapon, with how I have it set up in this gameplay, is 47% flinch resistance, and it shows. It's incredible. And I was talking about this in the Austringer video. That 91 stability Austringer with Eye of the Storm rangefinder, it isn't too far behind. It's around 45 flinch resistance. That's a difference between 9 stability. Both of these hand cannons and many more weapons are phenomenal with these changes. And that's why it doesn't matter if you're M&K or controller. Because M&K, yes, does have better stability out of the gate because of the input, but you're building in for this right here. As opposed to that earlier clip with that Hawk Moon, it was only at 13.5%. You see the kickoff, you see the flinch, you don't really see that now. That's why you're doing this on any input, this right here. And then we have something like this 100 stability BXR. This is in the 20% category, and I get the full multiplier because it's at 100 stability. That multiplier is 0.8. I have on 10 tier resilience, that's 0.9. Double unflinching mods, that's 0.7. 49.6, let's say 50%. Half, 50% flinch resistance. And we've never had anything like this, guys. Okay, it's there, and it's there to abuse. I want you to. You should be doing this. Let's keep talking about it. I'm telling you. I hope that you can see from the gameplay. You get to a point where you pretty much negate flinch in relation to landing shots within a hitbox. Like, it doesn't matter. It's going to be within the hitbox. It moves so little. That's why that Austringer is so special with Eye of the Storm and rangefinder. Because it's at 45 flinch resistance, it's not really getting flinched. And when I'm in red health, Eye of the Storm has massive accuracy benefits and I'm getting headshots. All of these high stability weapons feel unstoppable. Like, I have a 95 Insidious. The BXR is at 100 stability. It's not too far behind. This thing's a monster. And of course, all of this is paired with mods, high resilience, things like that, and more on that in a moment. Because on this journey, I found some things out. But let's talk about one more. I just went over Tears of Contrition. I crafted that thing with 79 stability, no distractions. I am tier 10 resilience. I have on double unflinching scout. So when you add all those together, it is 65.5% flinch resistance. It's no joke. Like, say you're on Titan, you're probably running tier 10 resilience anyway, or close to it. But if you had this same setup and then throw in a rally barricade, and let's bring up that list. The rally barricade is the best source in the game to combat flinch. And when you add all these things together, stability, resilience, unflinching mods, no distractions, rally barricade, all of those multipliers, it's 82.8% flinch resistance, 83%. And guys, Mida is pretty much in the same situation, right? Mida has no distractions. Mida has 45 stability. It would be at 81%. It's right behind it. And I'm going to reference this in just a moment. What I want you to take away from this video, I mean, we've had fun. We've gotten a little nerdy, maybe sometimes a little boring. But what you need to know, when I started to tackle this, I wanted to know because I felt it. It's definitely noticeable and it's clear what's going on here. It's the pure fact that it's all multiplicative because we've only had one source before, unflinching. maybe 2 sources. Maybe you also had no distractions. Maybe 3 if you try really hard with the Rally Barricade, but mostly it's just the unflinching mods. Out of the gate, at the core, we have 2 free sources. We just have them. Resilience and stability. Those are 2 numbers that go into an equation. And with that example that I started with, even if you don't care, you're still getting help. 70 stability, 5 resilience, it's whatever. You're getting that 13.5%. But what's crazy about it, again, is that they're multiplicative because the 3rd source is the one that matters. That source is an easy unflinching mod. And it takes that 13.5%, that situation right there, to 35%. 35% with a really good stability Hawk Moon and mid resilience. That's what you need to do. You need to add a 3rd source. The sources are what matter because when you have 3 things that are multiplying, things happen. Just do it, no questions. Make room on your armor, whatever primary that you're using, add unflinching. Because no matter what, even if you don't really care with your resilience, with your stability stat, if you add on that mod, you're pretty much gonna be 30% and above. And as you saw with the BXR and other weapons, when you go all in, double unflinching, max stability, max resilience, that's when you start seeing that 45, 50, 51% flinch resist. And even if it isn't 100 stability or 100 resilience, let's say you have 7 resilience, 70 stability, and it's a hand cannon or whatever it is, as long as you add on that mod, that's what matters. And because it's multiplicative, the number of sources matter too. That's why earlier when I had an 80 stability Tears of Contrition, a scout rifle with no distractions, with unflinching mods, with the resilience, behind the Rally Barricade, it was 83%. The Mida has 35 less stability, but it's 1% behind it because there's so many sources being added together. And it's also going to change how I look at weapons because really there are 2 ways to look at it, okay? Like going really high, there is a difference. You can feel a difference. You can feel a difference in 5%, 10%. Like if you have a 90 stability hand cannon, then a 100, then a 70, then an 80, like once that goes into the equation, you feel the 70 and the 90, there's a difference. But if you get the stability pretty good, your resilience pretty good, like I'm talking like you want to be above 50 stability, above 45 stability, above 4 resilience, 5, 6, 7, as long as those are together and you add on the unflinching mod, it's fine. Like it's incredibly good. So this little chart that I put together here, again, as you start going through the stability 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, and you see the multiplier, whether it be with the 20%, which that's right in the middle, 0.85, 0.86, 0.87, you can kind of plug those in. And even if what I have on the chart isn't like absolutely the exact number, it's close. So you can kind of plug in the things that you need. And also on the bottom here, as you've noticed, I put in what all no distractions is, what all that is, and the weapon archetypes, starting off at 25, 20, 15, and 10. But it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. And I want you to do well. I know that when I do fully build into it, and I'm extreme, like you've seen it, it is 100 stability, it's tier 10, everything, we're going in. It's a difference, okay? And when push comes to shove and you need to win gunfights, this is at the forefront. It really is. It's going to be up to you, and I really hope that you take the advice that you learned in the video today. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Flinch down below. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.